I see a lot of tweets and activity about Quant going back down to $45, this and that. I love being bearish. I get bearish more easily than the vast majority of crypto influencers across any platform, as my returning viewers obviously well know. With that bearishness, I'm going to show you why the chart does not agree. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think those low targets are going to happen, and you should be able to at least see what I'm seeing. Doesn't mean you have to agree with it, but you're going to see my doubt of those targets really ever being hit in this bear market. And honorary mention, I'm not for sure if Quant is getting some, I guess, news pushed out, but it kind of feels like it's bringing a small wave of noobs to crypto, which is fine. I was a noob once too. Not saying noob in a bad way at all. Welcome. Like, honestly, handshake, welcome if you're new. But the reason I'm saying that is because the comments being left on my quant analysis videos are it just means like there are a lot of noobs in it and there aren't on the other ones, which is actually a good thing for the crypto. It means people who were not in crypto during the bull run are hearing about Quant somehow. So that's, so I just said two bullish things about Quant. I don't think those $45 targets are realistic. I'm going to show you why. Also, weird noob comments only on my Quant videos. It seems like it's getting some exposure out in the real world. The most recent one was, even though I talked about a breakdown specifically from this horizontal, and that's specifically where it broke down from, but because I didn't say that was what was going to happen, before the FTX news, I made an analysis right before it, right? And because it did not interact more with this origin line here, I had a few people who clearly are new saying, "Oh, you were wrong on that. You're wrong on that." Well, yeah, I didn't. I mean, it was a news-driven, price movement. So I did not anticipate the FTX stuff coming out. And therefore, I did the timing of this drop from my exact line. It's not a coincidence it fell, and accelerated from here. It's an obvious line. But yeah, on the timing, of course not. So, but that was a noob comment because I think it was the day before the FTX thing. Of course not. All right, so let's dive in. Let me show you why I don't think $45 is a realistic target. For now, obviously that could change. So disclaimer, there are signals that could change, and you're also going to see that in here. But as of now, it's not realistic. All right. Here you go. So this is the lowest origin line that's ever been hit on Quant. Quant is not very old, right? So this chart only goes back to 2021. Maybe I should be using a different chart. I don't know how old Quant is. No, it's about the same. All right. And off of that bottom origin line, it had a massive rally. It seems to me what's going to be next is a macro high or low, meaning that this is bottom. I have a hard time seeing right now that this is going to go back below there. It looks like in general what's going to happen is this, and then maybe fill out a triangle, and then you go up later. So it keeps getting rejected by this for over a year and a half. And it stays in this triangle until 2023. I think that looks more realistic. Now, to argue with myself there, why, if you do this so many times on other altcoins, including Bitcoin, right? On Bitcoin, that red line, it had never really had a market cycle low below there. Bitcoin is 4 origin lines below that. So why can't Quant go 1 below? And if you ask that question, it's a good question. You're right. It easily could. So when are you going to know? When it goes below that red one. That's it. But until it goes below that red one, I think the chart says it's more likely it's going to put in a higher low. But the cool thing about this is is I'm showing you exactly the moment of when I'll be wrong, if I'm wrong. Or no, you'll know the exact moment where the probabilities that my being wrong get higher, like 55, 60%. But it's convenient because I think it's gonna go to that line anyway. So at the same point, at the same line, depending on how price interacts with it, it will be highly probable that I'm correct. But if it behaves with it the other way, uses it as resistance, it becomes probable that I'm wrong at the same location. It just depends on how price behaves at that location. So it's similar to a 2-year-old, or no, sometimes it's like 18 months, 18 to 24 month kid. The probability of you getting an ice cream depends on you behave when we get there. Just like that. You're definitely going there, but we don't know if you're getting ice cream yet. We're gonna find out once we get there how you behave. It's the same thing. And that's your midterm outlook for quant, and honestly, potentially long-term outlook. Like I said, this is like June 2023 over here. It could easily happen. And quant fans might, be, I don't know, not happy about this, but I'm telling you, what I'm telling you, let me be clear. What I'm telling you, even though this looks boring and, when is quant to the moon? No, this is bullish. Whether you agree with it or not, you would be wrong if you don't agree. In a bear market, if it really were to fill out this triangle, that is bullish. If you want this to go to $1,000 and beyond, you need to reset your expectations. You need to reformat your brain, like a floppy disk reformatting, or what do you call it? The external hard drives or whatever, memory, or hard drives. But you need to reformat your brain to the time axis. No moonage for quite a while. But a very, very bullish situation, even though it looks boring, and it kind of is. That is bullish, because all things are relative. Relative to a deep bear market, Bitcoin and crypto's first bear market ever in a stock market bear market. It's going to be bloodier than the last ones, almost like by default, which is also what I've been saying for a while. If quant can go against that and form a macro higher low here, around 78 to 94 bucks, that's exceedingly bullish. Now, how many origin lines down would have to go? Well, Bitcoin this cycle went 4 lower. So let's go see what that would mean. So we already put 2 on, because the dotted ones count as an origin line too. So if it does go 1, 2, 3, 4 on the average slope of this, so it would probably hit it on the, I would say near the middle of the average slope. Well, so yeah, it hit it about right there, actually. Yep, that's a big line. Huh. Interesting. Quant fans, you probably want this on your chart. Price is going to hit this and probably bounce off of it. Not reverse necessarily, but bounce. Oh my gosh, I just accidentally nailed a line that I need to be using on quant. Wow. Okay. I got lucky there. I didn't think about that until I accidentally did it. Well, maybe it won't hit it. Damn. Let's say it comes down, by December. Yeah, it could. I'm kind of thinking the next move down would be December. That would be a wick below this origin line. Touch it, then get back above the origin line, macro low. So wicks are allowed. The lowest I could see this going. Let's see, wicks below $66. But if it does go below this origin line here, and it happens in December, then your next target is probably going to be the top of this line, and it's probably going to bounce pretty hard. If it happens in December specifically. But if it doesn't happen in December, I don't think it's ever going to hit it again, because it's moving down at a pretty heavy slope. But this is in play until probably January, right? So I guess in terms of figuring out, hey, if it does wick below this origin line and it does form a macro higher low here, how heavily will it wick? There you go. To that yellow or that rotated rectangle, which is the tool I used. Now, let's dive into what Quant's doing in the interim on the short-term time frames. I'm trying to see which origin line rules apply right here. It does have permission to go up. It would either, so if this origin line can get, so this is an if. I'm not saying this will happen. I'm saying price will behave like this when it gets above this line. And here is where it's going and why. Right? Look left here. This wick will be big. If price of Quant can get above here and use it as support and Bitcoin doesn't tank, the next target will minimum be this. It will, with a high probability, it will minimum hit that. However, it has absolutely full permission to hit that target as well before a pullback. So what this says is, if we zoom way in here, you will be able to see when that move is triggered. It's going to get above here and go like this and take out the punch high. It's usually how crypto moves. It'll accelerate once it takes that out. Like, right, boom, 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 bam. That's when it would go. And it would bare minimum hit this horizontal right here. Will it happen in a 1 hour? No, not necessarily. I mean, hell, it could look like it's happening a few times, but keep touching this line. But that's fine. It's using it as support more and more, which would honestly increase the chance of it hitting this target. So that's your trigger for the upside. So right with this, you're going to have a middle point here. You're going to have a horizontal on... Honestly, I don't think it's a horizontal. This is moving with the slant. Yeah, Quant Price is slanted right now. So whatever algos are kind of dominating the volume on this, they are slanted. Which is not... For micro time frame, bottom patterns is not that common. The larger the time frame, the more like clear that that's what's happening. I would say that Quant has a 50% chance or higher to break above and hit those targets. I guess being one of the main options, as long as it's above that line. And currently that line is coming in at here. The farther away from this line it is, the more probable that it becomes. Where the probability flood happens, where it's extremely probable that these targets will be hit, is the case I just showed. However, the probability flip line, where it becomes improbable of happening, is this middle one. And this is also from where it would break down, and at bare minimum, like it would immediately initiate a move to here. Making sense? This is not an origin line. This is just kind of the middle of the little range that's going on. And that is how to keep smooth with watching Quant Price over the next 5 to 10 days.